Vice President, one of the things that I've heard from people that have been affected by Helene is they knew that there was a potential of maybe a flood, not to this magnitude, but they couldn't afford flood insurance even if they wanted to.
Sure.
Is there anything that your administration is doing to maybe lower some of those insurance costs?
Well, first of all, as the governor said, the most important thing that we're doing is trying to pick up and fill the gap where the insurance isn't necessarily available. And there's been about $4 billion that's been earmarked for the state of Virginia. Only about $47 million has actually been delivered or even promised to be delivered to the state of Virginia. So really what we're going to have to do where there are major gaps in flood insurance is to ensure that the people's government is actually helping people rebuild and recover after these terrible floods actually happen. Yes, there are things that we can do to make flood insurance more available. I think there's some regulatory changes that we can engage in, but the most important immediate thing that people here need is help recovering, help rebuilding, and that's what we're going to do. The basic thrust of Donald Trump's administration, whether it's defense policy to helping people in Damascus, is we're putting people over bureaucrats. The bureaucracy has for too long stood in the way of the people's business. That's going to stop, and we're going to fight to make sure it stops every single day.
Do you have a timeline of when we might be able to see some of that federal response, governor, even some of the state response? There's a home around the corner that has been split in half. This gentleman said that his mother, I don't know if you guys have seen the picture, she said his mother has had insurance, had flood insurance, but the problem was she couldn't get any federal insurance, and he said that she's getting run through all this rigmarole, and he's just looking for an answer. What could you possibly provide for him?
Look, as soon as possible, right? We need to get back to Washington. We need to figure out what the holdup is and actually power through that holdup for people. Every single day after today is too long. We recognize these things don't always happen as quickly as they can, but the big difference now compared to a week ago is that people actually have an administration that's going to help them power through that bureaucracy. We're going to fight for them every single day. We're going to try to get that money as soon as physically possible because that's what's necessary to help people rebuild.
And I can tell you that we heard from business leaders today that even in the last week, they've seen more movement than they had seen before. And so this is the opportunity for us to, yes, cut through red tape, cut through bureaucracy. At the state level, I have a $127 million budget amendment in to supplement what has already been at least appropriated by the federal government. Now it needs to come out. And this is a sprint because as the vice president said, folks can't wait. They've been waiting for 4 months since this storm, and they don't need to wait another day.
Absolutely. Anybody over here?
Yes.